Live, local, now. This is WSFA 12 News, Today in Alabama.
Good Sunday morning. I'm Jordyn Elston. This morning's top stories are just seconds away, but first, WSFA First Alert meteorologist Lee Southwick is tracking your Sunday forecast. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning, Jordyn. So we are dry today, but still cloudy. If we take a look over Wetumpka, you can see those overcast skies. Same for areas such as Montgomery, the capital city. Now we're going to watch as these clouds, they'll try to dissipate today, but it's going to stay mostly cloudy throughout the day. However, we will stay dry. Our radar is dry. Our clouds are going to try to diminish from the western counties off towards the eastern counties. So those of you in the west have a better chance of seeing some sunshine later on today. Let's take a look at our temperatures. We're going to stay a little cool today still, but again, at least everyone now will stay dry. Areas near the capital city and along 85 saw rain yesterday. Dothan, we're at 51. Ozark is at 50. Troy, 48. Union Springs, 46. Montgomery, we are sitting right near 49. Alex City's also there at 49. Off to the west, also there in the upper 40s. But today, I think everyone's going to warm up to the upper 50s. Now, those of you in the west who see a bit more sunshine, you could actually surpass 60 degrees, while those in the east, if you stay more cloudy, you might stay in the low to mid 50s. But overall, generally, everyone reaching those upper 50s. So overall, still a cool day, and we're going to watch those clouds. So when does the sunshine finally return? Jordyn, I'm going to give you those details coming up.
Thanks, Lee. New this morning, a vicious murder of an Auburn University student more than 10 years ago is resurfacing. 18-year-old Lauren Burke is the student who was kidnapped in a dorm parking lot after a man pointed a gun at her and she was later killed. A hearing is set for the convicted killer, who hopes he will get off death row.
He shot her in the back like a coward. She was trying to escape from a moving car.
Jim and Vivian Burke are the parents of once Auburn University student and Georgia native Lauren Burke. Lauren was kidnapped and murdered back on March 4, 2008 by Courtney Lockhart. A jury found Lockhart guilty of capital murder and sentenced the 23-year-old Iraq War veteran to life in prison without parole. However, at Lockhart's sentencing, Judge Jacob Walker used his judicial override to overturn the jury's recommendation and sentenced Lockhart to the death penalty.
I just don't understand why a murderer, as heinous as this crime was, as far as how he abducted my daughter, is able to have all of these options, and Lauren had no options.
Burke says he got word from the Attorney General's office that Lockhart is using Rule 32 to claim his defense team was not adequate when the trial took place years ago. Boston, Massachusetts-based attorney Aaron Katz is now Lockhart's attorney. He gave me a statement reading in part, quote, "The death of Lauren Burke is an immense tragedy. What we are trying to do is make sure this judge, when deciding if Courtney should live or die, that he has the full portrait of what Courtney went through in Iraq and what he was going through when he returned from Iraq. Lauren's family is hoping justice is served and their beloved daughter will forever be remembered."
He took her rights away. He took her life away.
Lauren's not breathing anymore, and there's no reason why he should be. That's just the way I feel.
The evidentiary hearing for Courtney Lockhart will be Monday in Judge Jacob Walker's Lee County courtroom. A little over 3 weeks after his death, the Alabama NAACP held a candlelight vigil for the family of E.J. Bradford. Bradford was killed by a Hoover police officer in that shooting at the Galleria on Thanksgiving night. And last night, friends, family, and well-wishers gathered outside of the mall where he died to honor his memory, as well as a call for justice.
Your word says that unity promotes a good and pleasant environment, a safe and respectable community. Lord, we need you now. We need you to touch this family.
Organizers thanked Hoover Police for escorting them to the location last night. Also, a plea from the family for State Attorney General Steve Marshall to expedite the investigation. A package robbery in Las Vegas netted a couple of thieves more than they bargained for. Instead of Christmas gifts, the bags contained human remains. Now authorities are begging for their return. Gabby Hart has the story.
Police are searching for a couple of crooks who stole the cremated remains of 3 people from a funeral home worker. Philip Smith is the general manager of Las Vegas Cremations. On Friday afternoon, one of his employees went to the post office on Decatur and Smoke Ranch, prepared to ship 3 packages containing cremated remains to the families. She set the bags down to just get situated before going inside, and that's when the unexpected happened.
The bags were placed on the ground momentarily while she had her keys in her hand. Their cremated remains are somewhat heavy, and so she was just adjusting, and that's when somebody had pulled in, grabbed the cremated remains, and took off.
Smith says his employee tried chasing them, but couldn't catch up. She believes they were driving a black, older model sedan, possibly a Honda Civic or Accord with dark tinted windows.
The most important thing is that we need to get these remains back to deliver to their families.
Brandy Hall is the managing funeral director at Las Vegas Cremations. She says the thieves likely had no clue what they were stealing, and she fears what they'll do with the remains once they figure it out.
The fear is that they have just dumped those in a dumpster and just discarded them.
Brandy says she can only hope that whoever stole the ashes will find it in their heart to return them.
They are priceless. Yeah. This is not a holiday gift. This is not a sweater from grandma. You know, this is something that we cannot insure enough.
Now to a 12 News update. Miss Odine Kleckler owns an appliance parts business in Clanton. She and her son were both jailed for a short time earlier this week for failure to clean up the property. Now the community is coming together to help her out. A scheduled cleanup was postponed because of the weather, but the support she's gotten this week has been overwhelming.
I appreciate all of my good friends, and since this happened, I just overwhelmed with how many I got and how much they think of me, and I appreciate them, and I think they're my living, and I want to thank them.
Ellison Scrapyard has offered to bring a container to the land to help clean up the appliances. No word yet on when the cleanup will be rescheduled. There is heartbreak in the Guatemalan town that was home to the 7-year-old migrant girl who died in U.S. custody this month. Jacqueline Call's family says that Jacqueline dreamed of living in the United States and sending money home to her poor family. The U.S. government defends Jacqueline's treatment, saying there was no indication that she had any medical problems until several hours after she and her father were taken into custody. For Americans in most states, Saturday was the last day to sign up for health coverage through the Affordable Care Act's marketplace. On Friday, a federal judge in Texas ruled the ACA or Obamacare should be invalidated completely. The ruling determined the individual coverage mandate is unconstitutional, but officially the health care law remains in force. 11 states and the District of Columbia run their own health care marketplaces. The Raycom Media Camellia Bowl has come and gone, and Georgia Southern came out on top after a nail-biter of a game. Fans were sitting on the edges of their seats, braving out the rain, watching the Georgia Southern Eagles take on the Eastern Michigan Eagles. It was pretty close for the majority of the game, and it came down to the last field goal. In the end, Georgia Southern took home a win with a 23-21 score.
Very excited coming all this way. They had a great season after last year, having a down year, and to come and win a bowl game, have 10 wins, just amazing.
Win or lose, our boys are better men. Sure. From playing football, they are just better men. They're blessed to play D1 football and to be where they're at. It's really been an honor.
We'll have more Camellia Bowl highlights later in sports. Happening now, state troopers are stepping up patrols this holiday travel season with their annual Operation Arrive Alive. Right now until New Year's Eve, all state troopers will be patrolling Alabama's highways. They're looking specifically for people speeding, texting while driving, following too closely, driving while intoxicated, and other traffic violations. They're also looking to help any motorist in need.
We plan to step up patrols. All available personnel that we have will be out working during that time. Like I said in the beginning, to ensure that everybody gets to and from their destination in a safe manner and make sure they spend that holiday time with their families.
Aaliyah says during last year's holiday season, troopers worked 123 crashes in 5 counties in East Alabama. One of those crashes was fatal. It's still cool and cloudy outside, but at least we're starting to dry out a bit. WSFA First Alert meteorologist Lee Southwick is in with your forecast coming up next.
But Jordyn, at least we will be drying out by Saturday. That's all I can ask is for a sunny weekend ahead.
I'm definitely excited about that. I was at the Camellia Bowl yesterday, and it was kind of just misting, you know, not enough for an umbrella, but just enough to, you know, be a little annoying. So I'm happy.
I feel like that's the most annoying type of rain, so that was unfortunate. But sunshine for next Saturday.
Definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Lee. Don't go anywhere. Highlights from last night's exciting finish at the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl is coming up next.
And that is your sports trail.
Everyone wants to eat healthy, but what exactly does that look like? Coming in this morning's Health Watch, we look at the fact and fiction of cutting out certain foods in your diet. Are you thinking about giving up meat? There are several health benefits. Some people feel strongly about not eating animals, and it can have a positive impact on the environment. But as Consumer Reports warns, when some people cut out meat and dairy, they need to take extra care to get the nutrients they need.
There's a variety of people who don't eat meat.
Vegetarian.
Vegan.
Pescatarian. Lacto-ovo vegetarian.
Have a look on most menus and in grocery stores. There are lots of options for people who want a plant-based diet. But there's a right way and a wrong way.
You need to do your homework. You need to plan your meals. You need to learn as much as you can about the nutritive aspects of foods.
Consumer Reports suggests for a balanced vegetarian or vegan diet, you need to pay special attention to getting enough of these 4 important nutrients: protein, calcium, iron, and vitamin B12.
There are plenty of plant foods that have protein. For example, tofu, chickpeas and other legumes, and high-protein grains such as quinoa can all help you meet your protein needs. You should have some protein at every meal.
And don't forget bone-building calcium. Doctors recommend 1,000 milligrams a day, 1,200 if you're a woman over 50. And how do you get calcium when you don't eat dairy?
Plant sources of calcium include almonds, bok choy, collard greens, kale, fortified plant milks, and orange juice, as well as calcium-set tofu.
Getting enough iron can be a challenge when you don't eat meat. Pair good plant iron sources such as lentils, white beans and other legumes, and Swiss chard with vitamin C containing foods such as oranges and red bell peppers.
Combining plant foods rich in iron with a source of vitamin C can help boost the iron absorption.
Another nutrient you may miss out on: vitamin B12, crucial for brain and nervous system functioning. Fortified plant milks, meat alternatives, and breakfast cereals can help you get B12. This is Cindy Cecil Bragg.
If you're planning on making the switch to veggie or vegan in the new year, it's not a bad idea to check in with your healthcare provider to ensure that you're getting enough of the nutrients that you need. We're going to be right back with another look at Lee's 7-day forecast coming up next.